GB ASMR. Not sure if you've heard of her. Real small channel. I'm kidding.
You're now listening to The Creator Code, the podcast dedicated to unlocking the secrets of your favorite online creators. Each week, we will deep dive into the tech, tips, and tricks to find out what truly makes them tick. Whether you're a new creator just starting out or an accomplished veteran, this show is made for you. And now, here's your host, MattyTingles.
Okay. Welcome back to the Creator Code podcast. I am your host, MattyTingles. This is episode 6. This is the podcast where we unlock the secrets of your favorite creators. Thank you so much for being here. As a reminder, full video of these episodes are on YouTube, so check that out. And we're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Especially on Apple Podcasts, though, if you're using that, please leave us a 5-star review, write a review. It is pretty much the only way that they know that people are listening and to show the show to other people for it to grow. So please do that if you can. Thank you for being here. This is episode 6. Obviously, normally I have a guest, right? And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously you can see. If you're listening to this, you'll know. But we had a couple cancellations this week, and that's perfectly fine. Things come up. That's okay. And we will get those rescheduled. We have some amazing guests coming up. And I'm not just saying that, like some big time guests. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below and let me know who you would like to see on the show as well. And we'll make it happen. All right. Anyway, so I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging and not upload an episode because I really am trying to take this serious and make it a consistent thing. So I wanted to do this episode, just a quick shorter episode with just me. And I wanted to answer some questions that you guys have sent in, whether that be on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I have about 10 here that I picked that I thought would be good for the listeners. All right. Because the whole point of this show, for me is to help other creators, of course, And I think that you can learn something from all of these episodes. And then also for the fans and the viewers, to hear, even just hearing me talk, I get that a lot. Like, I can't believe this is his normal voice kind of thing. So, I have some questions here and we'll go through them. And I hope that they are helpful for you. And I hope that you like this episode. And then next episode and moving forward, we will get back to the guests, of course. But I thought this would be kind of a fun episode just to go through some questions that's been sent in. All right. So again, thank you so much for being here. This is episode 6 of the Creator Code podcast. Let's get right to it. This first question is from GB ASMR. Not sure if you've heard of her. Real small channel. I'm kidding. Anyway, shout out to GB. Her question was, give me a list of all of your hobbies. I need to know how people balance life. So here's the honest answer. I don't know, because I'm not good at balancing life. I think we talked about it before, but being a YouTuber and a content creator, it's kind of nonstop, right? Because we're not, of course, behind the camera nonstop, but we are thinking about our next move, right? We're thinking about props we need to get. We're thinking about video concepts. We're thinking about social media posts and collabs and emails and sponsorships and stuff. And so I think for me, because I think you're asking me, I do not know. I'm still trying to learn that. So if anyone out there has figured that out, I would love to know, because it's something that, we all struggle with. As far as hobbies and stuff that I do outside of creating has been really, really weird the last year, right? Because my main 2 things that I normally do as hobbies, I couldn't go do for a year and a half, right? Which was going to movies, which just opened, actually. I might go see In the Heights tonight. We'll see. Going to movies and karaoke. Those are my two things to kind of get out of the house, be around other people, but I haven't been able to do that for about a year and a half. So other than that, I think a lot of the hobbies and the work overlap, if that makes sense, because I don't see streaming on Twitch I see as a hobby, to be honest, right? It's not part of it's part of my brand and it's part of the work, but it's not my main focus. But I'm loving it. And so, again, I think my answer is I have no idea. And also a lot of the hobbies that I do overlap with the work. All right. Shout out to GB, by the way. We will get her on here very, very soon. I know a lot of people have been asking for that, especially after the previous episode with Ben. So we will get GB on, no question. All right, next question. This is from Lily on Twitch. If you knew what you knew now about being a creator, would you still aspire to do it? Ooh, excellent question. Yes, and again, this is just for me. It's just in my DNA to be a creator. Like if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing it in some form, in movies, television, design, whatever. It's just my DNA. So, if I knew what I knew now, well, first of all, if I knew what I knew now, I would be way more successful because I would have all of the knowledge of doing this for years in the beginning, right? But I get what you're saying, and there are some pitfalls and some down stuff, but all worth it because this is the dream job, and so the answer is yes, I absolutely would in some capacity. All right, next question. This comes from Cammy on Twitch. How many hours a day do you dedicate to creating? Okay, so again, this kind of goes back to the first question where like we're not behind the camera all the time, right? But I think that part of creating is the process, right? It's the setup, it's the concepts, it's the scripts, it's the props. So I would say nearly all day. I would say nearly all day, every day, because it's really hard to turn off. And we don't really turn it off unless we are just genuinely trying to make a difference in our schedule and take a break, which is, if you've listened to any other episode of this podcast, you'll know it's something we all struggle with. But to answer your question, almost all of the hours. Thank you, Cammy. All right, so let's see here. This comes from Justin Robinson on Twitter. What is your best advice to give creators, ASMR or in general, who are trying to transition from hobbyist to full-time? Excellent question. And I think we kind of went into this with the Raffi episode. But advice for people going from hobbyist to full-time is be prepared. Okay? And I'm not talking about the Scar song from The Lion King. I'm talking about be prepared for everything that comes with being a full-time creator, right? That means, again, not really having breaks, right? It means potentially having your revenue be on a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. It means, dedicating a lot of your life to this. So I think the best advice I could give you is just be ready, be prepared, right? Because going from hobbyist to full-time, unless you're just getting way ahead of yourself, means that you found some sort of success, right? So I think the most important thing for creators is to be ready for when that moment comes. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people who aren't ready for that, and it's a real struggle for them. You know what I mean? So I would say just be ready. Just be ready and learn from the people who have been there, right? And again, that's largely what this podcast is for. So that's what I would say. Thank you, Justin. All right, Emma on Twitter says, when you first started doing ASMR, were your family and friends supportive? Did they find it weird at all? So family, I'll start with family. Family, not really. And honestly, they still don't really know. Like, they know what I do, but I don't think they necessarily watch it. They get the concept of ASMR, but they're not really connected into that world. But they really, the family just they've been supportive from day one, and as long as I'm paying bills and having fun and being safe, they'll be fine with it. Friends, on the other hand, sure, yeah, a lot of people. I don't know if it was weird, but it was just confusion. It was more like, wait, what are you doing? What is this? What is this? Right? And for me, the the funny part of it is, if you guys don't know, I did music for almost a decade before ASMR. I toured. I put out 9 albums. I opened for a lot of big names. I was a recording artist, and so before that, it was loud music and hyping a crowd and all of that, and then to go from that to ASMR, that's I think where a lot of my friends were confused because they're like, you went from this to this, you know what I mean? So to answer your question, family not really, friends maybe a little bit, but I don't know if it was weird in a negative way. It was just like, what are you doing? What is this? You know what I mean? Thank you for your question, Emma. It's a great question, and honestly, I think there's a lot of creators out there who struggle with that, specifically with ASMR too, right? Because it's kind of hard to explain, right? Even though I think it's more of a household name than it's ever been. Um, it is hard to explain, so I get it. I get it. All right, the next question comes from Nick Sywak. I hope I'm saying that right on Twitter, and it says, "Have you ever had a fan meeting experience that made you uncomfortable or alarmed?" So I think to answer your question, yes, and I think it's really important to talk about because honestly, just yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of Christina Grimmie, and if you do not know about Christina Grimmie, she was one of my favorite OG YouTubers. She did covers. She was incredible, and I think a lot of people probably know her because she got on The Voice. Um, and unfortunately, 5 years ago, she was murdered at a meet and greet, and it just was kind of like, man, it was tough. And so, as far as meetups and stuff like that, you got to be really careful, right? And unfortunately, um, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, especially if you're a woman, you just have to be careful. And what I mean by that is, and I'm not saying that male creators don't have to be careful as well, but I'm saying, depending on your level of notoriety online and all of that, definitely have some security, or and definitely do it at a public place. You just got to do something. You just got to do things to protect yourself, right? So, um, I have had some fan experiences that made me uncomfortable. I did a meet and greet in Denver one time, and there was a very disturbing dude that showed up. I won't go into detail, but we had to have police involved and blah 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 blah. But just know out there, guys, like if you meet your favorite creator and stuff, like it's not cool to be, um, you know, disrespectful or make people uncomfortable, the creator or the other people there. So just be chill. Just be chill. We're normal people as well. All right. Next question. I love these. These are so fun. Andy Solo on Twitter. Shout out to Andy Solo. Lovely person. Um, who are your biggest inspirations? What made you decide to start your own ASMR channel? So I think that there's this is a tough one because there's another question on here too that kind of goes with this. So I'm gonna keep it in biggest inspirations in ASMR because your second question was what made you decide your ASMR channel. So my biggest inspirations when I started my channel was and I I know this is becoming just a fanboy podcast about ASMR requests, but it was ASMR requests. It was Heather Feather. It was Amal. It was just all the OG ASMR artists. And honestly, even GB, like GB before she was GB, I was a Patreon. What do you call that? A patron on her Patreon when she had, I don't even know how many subscribers, 50,000 maybe, or 25,000. I don't remember, but um, GB for sure. But just all the OG people, and honestly, what made me decide to start my own ASMR channel was I already had a camera, I already had lights from doing music. And one night I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna try, and that is the biggest thing. Is turning the camera on, pressing record, and just going. Um, And that's what made me decide to start, was just watching these amazing people and then realizing, hey, I kind of have all this stuff already. Why don't I just try it? So, yeah, Andy Solo, thank you. All right. So then the next one that kind of goes with that is from Jamiscio on Twitter, and that is, what are your favorite channels to watch that aren't ASMR channels? Woo, that's a tough one. So I will name a few just to give some shout outs, of course. Let's see. Number one, Casey Neistat. He's my favorite YouTuber of all time. One of my biggest influences. Casey Neistat. Two, Adeline Morin. I love Adeline. Her vlogs and stuff are amazing. Let's see. Marquise, of course. Who else? Anthony Padilla. Anthony, if you see this, I would love to have you on the show, of course. I'll text you about that, but would love to have you on. Anthony's amazing. I watch a lot of sports stuff, so I watch like Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, stuff like that. Shelby Church. Shelby Church is another vlogger who is really, really good. Sarah Dici is amazing. Shout out to Sarah. Again, would love to have you on the show. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, but honestly, most of them are channels where I learn a lot and inspire me to go make content. All right, we got a few more here, and then I will get out of here. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. This is I do want to do an episode where I am interviewed by someone, I don't know who, because I have a really, really cool story, I think, but it's not what that's about right now. We're still building, and we'll get there, but I would love to do that at some point. All right, this next question, we got three more. Next question is from Fuzzy Owl ASMR on Twitter, and it says, did you find that your growth on YouTube was due to one particular popular video, or was it more steady growth and one day you just had tons of followers over time? So again, I'm just speaking for me. I think everyone's plight is different, but for me, it was one particular video. And I've told this story many times, but the first, it happened twice. The first one was the first Apple Store video I ever made. It was like my fourth or fifth video. I went to bed and it had like under 100 views on it. And I woke up the next morning and it had like 22 or 25,000 on it or something like that. And I had gone up like 1,000 subscribers overnight. And obviously that's just the algorithm going, whoa, okay, we're going to show it to some people. And I have not stopped since. From that moment, again, it goes back to being prepared. I was prepared for the growth, and I have not stopped since that since that happened. And then the second one for sure was the first Fortnite props video. The Fortnite prop series is for sure my most viral. I don't like that word that much, but viral video, if you will. They did millions of views, and it was for sure the biggest growth that I had from a video and from a series, for sure. So for me, it was a couple popular videos that really boosted things. And then just being, again, though, that doesn't mean anything if you're not prepared to keep going and have ideas and stuff ready. So you got to keep some stuff on deck. You know what I mean? For when that happens. Okay, the next question is from Robert Frazee 94 on Instagram, and it says, what cheaper camera would you recommend that isn't your phone? Excellent question. Again, I always say that, especially now, phones are, if you're just starting out, the phone is the best camera for sure. It is. They are incredible, even the front camera. As far as a cheaper camera, I'll say a couple that are, and in no ways are these cheap, but they are cheaper in the realm of, if you want to get a nice, whether it's a DSLR or a mirrorless, if you want to get a nicer camera and feel like you have a camera, you know what I mean? Let's see, the Canon, Canon T7 T7i are like 500 or so. Same with the Canon 5D Mark II, I want to say, is like $500. And a lot of the times at Best Buy or B&H Photo or something, you can find bundles that come with lenses and cases and everything. So honestly, though, I'll give you one that I'll give you some advice for cameras as well when you're first starting out. Look on Craigslist, and even like if you have a Facebook, like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, because you don't have to buy a brand new camera, and as long as it's in good shape, you can normally get a good camera for way cheaper. And I think even the G5, the Lumix that Rafi has, and I think GB uses it as well, I'm not sure, that camera's like $500 or $600. So, again, I wouldn't say if you're first starting out that you need it. I would also suggest for vlogging, if you're not doing ASMR, if you're vlogging or doing content out there, I love the G7X, the Canon G7X, the flip up screen to see yourself. I don't suggest the Sony ZV, the ZV-1, which is the vlogging camera. It's not great. Anyway, great question. And again, if you're just starting out, the phone is great. I'm telling you, it's great. Seriously. And if you just learn aperture and settings on the phone, it's good. It's really good. All right, last question, and then we will get out of here. This has been episode 6. This has been really cool. I love just talking to you guys. And again, I hope that you learned something, and I hope that this was fun for you guys. So last question on here is from V. I hope I'm saying your name right. V Spears Watson on Instagram. And it says, what are your goals for your channel? Sponsorships, video ideas, equipment, audience. Good question. So where I'm at right now, I kind of feel like my content is in like autopilot a little bit, meaning like I'm doing videos and I like them a lot and I'm putting them up, but I'm not, how would I say this? I'm not really pushing the envelope right now. And I like to be, because honestly, a lot of the stuff that has really worked for me has been pushing the envelope. So, I think my goal for my channel is obviously to keep growing and come up with cool ideas and upgrade equipment and continue to work with these amazing sponsors. Shout out to Ben, that kind of stuff. But honestly, one of my goals is to just branch out into more things, right? It's doing, who knows, commercials, movies again, maybe collabing with a production company and making like a real amazing production for my channel. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. I think a little things out of the box, if you will. But of course, I would be remiss if I said I didn't hope that the channel just keeps growing. You know what I mean? And I can keep helping people out there. So excellent question. Again, I think the easiest way to say it is I just want to keep growing. That's it. Okay, listen, guys. I know that this is kind of a different episode than you're used to. Again, the cancellations are perfectly fine. Life happens, and it's okay. But I promise you, we do have some amazing guests coming up. We really do. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you learned something, and I hope maybe you learned something about me and my thoughts. Because I know there's a lot of people here that are here from my channels, and I know sometimes you don't get to hear from me because I'm doing the interviewing, which I love. So anyway, all right. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the Creator Code Podcast, episode 6. Cannot believe we've already done 6 of these, and we are just getting started. All right. So please remember to subscribe on the YouTube channel. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And also, if you're still here and listening, let me know in the comments if you're who you want to see on the show. I would love that. All right. All right. This has been the Creator Code Podcast. I am your host, MattyTingles. Thank you so much for being here. Be safe out there, please. Be kind to others and yourself. I will see you next time.